We be talking, what's the word? Everything you never heard. We be talking, oh, talking. Tamara, Kim, Shika, and Ave. They be
So
talking.
you go ahead and start us off, boo boo.
Me inside like you know me inside.
Oh, because if I'm telling you something, I'm not telling you and your husband. I'm telling you. I'm not telling you and your wife.
Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the post notification bell so you don't miss a single video, because you know they be talking. Period.
Well,
Oh,
ladies, we're getting ready to talk about something kind of, I would say, controversial because how do you grieve? How do you properly grieve? It's pretty much, is it too long? Is there such thing as too long, like you grieving too long? Or when should you be healing and let it go? Who's to say when your grieving session is over? I don't know what to call it.
oh
Your
my.
grieving season. And what does that look like? Does God gives us pointers on how to grieve and healing? And I believe it's different for everybody. So ladies, what y'all think about that? I had this one friend. Well, I ain't gonna say that, but anyway, I would just go on and move on because I'm about to say I got this one friend. She has no compassion, no time limit, no mercy on a person grieving. Especially, here's the kicker: if somebody done died and they she feel like now you should just dry your one little two tears up and keep on moving because what you crying for? He didn't live his life. They didn't live their life for years.
Oh
Why you
my.
doing all this sobbing and wobbling and hobbing? Why you still going on? Like some people take death hard,
Yeah, they do.
and if
Some people take it hard, and some people.
person, to her it don't make any logic.
Oh,
It's not logic. It don't make sense to
Yeah,
that.
like, who this friend she talking about?
Who's this friend she talking
It's
about?
one of your friends on the screen.
You don't know. Somebody I went to high school with. But lies. Go ahead. No, forgive me. Instantly.
I would say, is one of these friends on the screen?
Listen. Let me tell you my take on grieving, and
She must be the friend.
Not that I don't have compassion. I think I do, but I think
Ooh.
I apply a lot of logic to like death and grieving. That's, and maybe sometimes I may overdo it with the logic.
Because your compassion, I wouldn't want it.
I don't see it. So like she said, like if somebody is like 90, right? And they die. They didn't die a tragic death. They weren't shot. They weren't, they didn't die in a car accident. They died because they were old, right? And they died. I feel like, yes, grieve, because you're going to miss them. You know what I'm saying? But like when you can't live and you're just, because it's like, how long did you expect them to live? Like when you live to see 90, you are blessed.
Well, my
People
one
are dying
what
at
you talking
20,
about?
at 10, like kids are dying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So somebody that lives that long, yes, yes, grieve. But how long are you going? Like 2 years later, and you're still like,
Keep it up. Let's hear it.
like if it's too. Okay, no good. And listen, I don't want to sound like bad, like sound mean or callous, or I don't want to sound like that, but that's just me. That's, for me, I just apply a lot of logic to it. Now if a child died or something, I can understand you grieving for an extended period of time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or somebody died tragically, something that you didn't expect, you know what I'm saying? Like they just died tragically, because even though, yes, we live in a world where people die at any age, but like when somebody die of old age, that's more natural. And for me personally, I feel like, yes, I'm gonna miss and I'm gonna grieve, but I'm thankful that they lived that long and then I had that time with them. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I see it. That doesn't mean that's everybody's opinion, and I respect that. If you want to grieve for 5 years when your 90-year-old grandpa died, that's on you.
See, you were good until you said
Right. So look,
that last part.
golly.
About to be like, way to go.
But then the ending just totally.
So I agree with Tamara to an extent. Like, I agree, not to an extent. I agree because a lot of times we get hung up. Not she could fix your face. A lot of times we do get hung up for years and years later. When a person has lived a long life. I ain't saying they got their 120. That's what I'm tripping on. Like, I want my full, what
Yes.
I can have, even more,
Right.
But when they die young, I think when they die unfulfilled, unpurposed, I feel sad in that sense, and I would grieve or whatever. But even with the death of my child, like, I love him, I would do anything to have him back, I agree, but I think there is a time when it's too long, because when it gets to a point where you can't function and operate because you to a point where you shut down on that day, like you can't fulfill purpose on the birthday of the deceased. You can't move forward, and do what they would have wanted you to do at living here on earth, because guess what? Not something I'm saying, they went to heaven, they living their best life. You get what I'm saying? They are having a joyous time, and that's what I believe as a believer. Now, everybody ain't got that same belief, but I feel like there is a such thing as too long, because now then you getting into disorders. And I'm taking classes now, like psych class, and it's talking about the different disorders that we develop, that we get from depression and consistent sadness and stuff like that. You open yourself up to other things, stress, and because I can't move past this one point. I know a couple of my family members, a lot of them felt the way because I didn't grieve long enough for them. You don't know what my process was,
or you wasn't responding.
I wasn't responding like the
way they expected you to respond.
Exactly. When actuality, I contribute how I responded to my relationship with the Lord. Yeah. Period. Got nothing to do with Kim, because Kim would have been in the casket with him. You get what I'm saying? But I contribute that to my relationship with the Lord, and allowing him to comfort me, allowing him to tell me when to move, or what to say. And he giving me a chance to grieve. He gave me a chance to, when I'm by myself, when my quiet time with him, I can be myself. I can be vulnerable. I can do all of those things. But I don't feel like it's nobody's place to tell me if it's too long or too short. You get what I'm saying? And if it's not causing me to be stuck or stagnated in a certain place, I think I'm doing all right,
Right.
So.
Right.
I mean, honestly, I want to say, I believe what you experienced was on a supernatural level. I don't think we were intended to go through that process.
Right.
I mean, I'm gonna just say this. It was never the original intent.
Right.
Death, anyway.
Right.
So now we have an enemy, because death is an enemy too. And I'm talking to people that are believers who understand what I'm saying. So as human beings, God didn't create us to die at all. Death came in when sin and Adam entered the world. Period. So now we're dealing with death, which again is an enemy to us.
Yeah.
I am not today. I think what we should do is get a professional on, because we're not professionals. Let's just put that out there. We're not
talking
counselors. We're not,
absolutely
people who have studied this. Okay, none of that. We just talking. Okay,
absolutely,
because that's what we do.
So we be talking. I want to put that out there, and we're sharing our experiences and our personal opinions. That's it. And as far as grieving, I don't think it's anyone else. Because you don't know what that person is going through. You don't know how connected that person was to that individual, whether they were 5 or 90 or 95. You don't know. You don't know. People can be taken out of guilt of what they didn't do, what they should have done. Now, I will say that I think there is a proper way to grieve, and I say proper way, and that's why I believe people should go see professional help. responsible and do your research when you're seeking this professional help. Make sure you're talking to the right person.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some professional help go wrong. So with that being
Mm.
said, in that, I think you should seek professional help with that process, because it is a process. And there are things that you are supposed to be feeling. And there are things that,
Yeah.
that it should be it shouldn't be, you shouldn't get stuck. And a lot of times people get stuck in the grieving process.
Yeah.
So now again, that I think that's when the length of 28 years, you still grieving like they just died.
Yeah, like it's yesterday.
Come into play because you didn't learn how to properly grieve, or there are steps to it, learning those steps and accepting it, you know.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I went through my process with Holy Spirit as well. With my grandma. That was the first person ever that I've experienced death with on that level, I would say on a personal level, on a level where it bothered me. I've heard people talking about people died, they're just like, oh man, you know, and I cried. And I've heard other, you know, some family members that died and it was sad, but never to this extent or this magnitude.
Yeah.
I've never felt pain like that. And I had this lady working all the way up to this store right now. She gonna see my grandma had been dead. Now, mind you, my grandmama was similar like to my mom. It was a tough time for me losing her, even though we were, you know, everything was going on, and we wasn't expecting her to die. We was expecting her to recover from brain surgery. The brain surgery was supposed to fix the issue. She was gonna recover and get better.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, so it wasn't a good thing. But this person gonna say, I think, how long my grandma had been dead? Like a week, 2 weeks.
Oh, it was that short?
My grandmama died July 4th. We went home. We didn't take forever to bury her. We went, I think I was back Fort Firm. And this individual gonna say to me, all right now. Now it hadn't even been a month. Yeah. She was like, all right now, you need to dry that up. You don't want to get stuck. You stop grieving now. You don't grieve that long. She said something, and I was just like, I almost cussed. I said, okay, well, I'm gonna go. I literally hung up the phone because
you couldn't take
you don't know me. And then they lost somebody. I almost took the opportunity to say, all right.
Like, all right now.
don't let, but I didn't do that. Because here's the thing. You don't understand it until you've been in that position.
Until you've been in it, yeah.
Until you've been in that position with, you know, with that person. But my husband helped me a lot. He told my mom them the story because I used to look at my grandmama's obituary every night. And on the obituary, they put a picture of me and her on the obituary. It was me and her in the kitchen. She was laughing. I would laugh with her. So I would go through that obituary because it was like a bunch of pictures, like a collage. And I'd be like, oh, I remember that day.
What Daniel say?
They were like, and I would get into bed and I would pull it out and I would every night. And they were like, see. And one day it came up missing. This happened for months. Y'all don't laugh because he told my mom.
Match to it.
One day it came up, Mr. Tamara, was you here when he told that story?
Yeah.
How he took the obituary, and I'm like, where is my grandmama? And I remember searching for it. He took my grandmama.
I got to cry tonight. Where is it?
Right. I was going through the grieving process wrong. Let me tell you. And it was like months, and I'm like, what mine? I'm crying. I can't find it. I ain't gonna remember my grandma. I'm just crying. And then after a while, it kind of stopped. And they were like, I ain't getting none. You over here crying every night, weeping and crying. You got this stuff. He took it and hid it. To this day, I can't find it. Whatever. When I remember being upset about that, and I told the Lord, but anyway, healing came with me and the Lord talking about it a lot. Yeah. And healing eventually came because I told him I'm tired of feeling this pain. I could still feel it was a physical hurt in my heart. Like I could feel the pain. My heart was broken. Yeah. She was dead, but I could still feel that broken pain. And I was like, I don't want to keep feeling this now. It's gone. She's gone now. She's gone. And I used to have dreams where I didn't want to have the dreams where I kept seeing her, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so the Lord helped me through that process. I'm at a place now I can talk about it. I ain't crying. I can see her and I don't cry.
Yeah.
It's sweet memories of her
Yeah.
instead of me like, oh Lord, the day she died, it comes up, but it's not debilitating to where I can't do anything or I just got to be away from people, so I thank God for that.
I got a question. When because I had a cousin that died. My cousin was a little bit older than me, which was unexpected. We didn't expect him to be, and he was murdered. So that was like, okay, we weren't expecting that. So got the call at work that my cousin died. Man, it was horrible. And so the funeral happened. I wasn't able to go because I was all the way in Japan and, so on and so forth. And, the way everybody grieved. But I think sometimes when people grieve, sometimes they're grieving because of, what they felt like they should have done or what they felt like they didn't say this or they didn't do this or they could have done this better. Or maybe if I had done this, that this wouldn't have happened or, stuff like that. So people could grieve that way too. But I think for me, when I grieved him, the one thing I was thinking about was, did he make it into heaven? Because I remember thinking that he lived like this tumultuous life. He went through a lot his whole life. He went through a lot of rejection and, stuff like that, just to come and die this horrible, tragic death. And I wasn't sure if he had made it in or not. And I remember like praying about it, like, Lord, I know we can't pray for the dead people because there's no repentance after death, but I just want to know, you know what I'm saying? And I think I had a dream. Was it a dream, Sheikah? Did I tell you about it? About my cousin?
Him being saved or him getting saved?
Yeah, like it was like I had a dream that he was in heaven. It was like God was telling me that he was here. Like he would confirm it to me. And after that, I was okay. Like I felt like my grieving was done right then and there. It was over. Like I felt I was good. Like at that point, but that was what my concern was. Like, did he make it in?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
and the Lord have a way. I've heard so many people tell stories about how they were concerned that their loved ones were saved and he would show them or bring it back, or somebody would come and say, yeah, I've led them to Christ. I wasn't concerned about that because I led my grandma to Christ
because you already knew she was. Yeah.
I remember one time I got ready to lead my grandma to Christ. I want to make sure she was saved. I was in Virginia. My grandma said, look in now. Between you, your mama, and Pat, I'm saved. Now I ain't doing this no more. She said, I will confess Christ Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And I believe the good Lord. She said, I ain't doing it no more. So she let me know, look, I am born again. Don't do this. We ain't doing this again. So that wasn't an issue. God will confirm it. Even then, when she died, he would tell me she's with me.
But he could. Yeah. But even with Kim, I already know. Kim, you already knew your baby made it in. Oh, yeah. But like that time when God told you that he was okay, that he loves y'all, and you were, I was like,
he confirmed so many things. I'm telling you, we would ride across that bridge in Florida, and I would just talk to him about it. I was like, I wonder how he doing. He's like, he's fine. He says hello. Oh, girl, I almost lost it.
Girl, like
but little things like story, that, like I'm like, okay. I said I'm good, But it wasn't like I was just dead to the world that I didn't grieve over him. I did it in my own way, and it was like people were like, I can't believe you walking around here like this. You still able to function. I still would smile. I still would, I went to work when I got back because I'm like, what if I stay at home? I'm gonna be depressed. I'm gonna soak in what the enemy wants me to do. I'm gonna have a pity party. I'm gonna throw that party. I'm gonna do all that, and then I'm at home in his room with his stuff. No,
that was me with Grandma Bitchberry through that part. Everything.
No, I strategically would. I got rid of a lot of the stuff early. I only kept a few things. I still got a few things, but it's just stuff that like a little small bear that they had at school because the school kept it, and then they didn't know how to give it to me. So by the time they gave it to me, I was good. I was like, oh, you guys kept it. They were like, we didn't know how to give it to you or whatever. And then when I got in the car, I cried a little bit. I'm like, okay, Lord, this ain't gonna set me back, but this is what this is good, And so I saw myself growing day by day, as I would talk to him about where I was in the process. And I remember the day it happened, like the hour after that, I remember telling God, I do not want to get stuck. I do not want to get stuck. I remember saying that, and I don't even understand why I had the urge to say that, but I remember saying, I don't want to get stuck. I don't want to get stuck. And I think it has a lot to do with a lot of my family members have lost people years ago, and they still grieve to this day. And I used to wonder why, like, why? And I hadn't experienced it on that level, like he was saying. And then when I did experience it on that level, I said, oh, I don't want to be stuck.
Yeah.
Because if any way to get stuck, this would be the time to get stuck. This is my flesh and blood. This is my child, you know.
Yeah.
So I felt like he absolutely guided me through the whole process. And I just could not understand why people couldn't understand where I was, right? When technically I didn't understand how they was grieving so long. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And that was your baby, right?
Yeah, right. And I'm like, some of y'all act like it was your child, you know. But I thank God that, you know, I didn't get stuck. You know, that was a declaration that I made.
And I think you committing that part, you know, to the Lord, whatever we give to him and allow him to, we have to give it to him and allow him to help us through it.
Yeah.
Will. Yeah. I did the same with taking Mason leaving for college. I said, Lord, I don't want to be depressed.
Yeah.
I already don't like where I'm located. I don't want to be depressed. I cried for about a good week. After that was it. I didn't want, because people like, oh, you know, they had all kind of stories. And even a lady where I was working, she was like, girl, it was months. She was like, everything hurt. It literally hurt for me. Out of bed, it hurt for me when all her children left home. And she said she would close their doors and walk past, because that was her life. That's all she knew. And you got to think about it. That's all she knew was her kids and all this, all at once, everybody gone. And now her life as she knew it is no more. She was like, every bone in her body hurt. And I'm just like, Lord, now let me dead. I don't want every bone in my body hurt. I want to enjoy.
Come on now. Yes.
I don't want to be depressed.
Yeah.
And I can remember thinking times when I was overwhelmed with them saying, man, when they leave, I'm gonna be excited.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case, because you get so caught up in that life. You know, I don't know who dealing with emptiness, but people out there deal with it. And it is a thing. But I decided that I didn't want to be depressed. Now, like I said, it took me about a week. I was like dealing with that change. But after that, the help of my husband and others, I just decided this ain't what I want to do. Yeah. And I'm okay. Like I was
a choice. You made that clear.
Choice. It wasn't like, for months. And, no.
Like you had to stay in that place. No, it was a choice.
Right.
Do you think that some people like over memorialize their loved ones, and that could probably cause them to be stuck too?
They're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Nobody can be in the place where God is. They just gotta esteem them that high. Whether they're your children, your husband, your grandma, your auntie, your brother,
parents.
Nobody. And because you got them in a place where God is supposed to be, then your life is over, because that was
because your God, literally, your God just died. So what you gonna do now? You know. But so I mean, what you think? You ain't said nothing all show long.
Y'all were making all great points. Like anything I would say, y'all already said. I was just like, amen, preacher.
Y'all I got one more preaching to do. Yeah. Y'all remember in Isaiah said, in the year that King Uzziah died, also saw the Lord high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. What he was, King Uzziah was a god. He didn't see the Lord where he should have seen the Lord. Well, he thought was King Uzziah, but when he died, he see where God is supposed. So nobody should be in a place. But people, we put them there all the time. You know, we put them in the wrong place. Y'all gonna have to deal with that. That's why I say I suggest you go seek some professional help.
That was like, what do you say? How do you communicate that with people? How do you? Because I see a lot of people like, you know, going through it and they grieve a long time. You know, how do you talk to somebody like that without offending them? You know what I'm saying?
That's why
that's a good question.
I'm like, you don't know me. You don't know me.
That's a good question. I need that.
That lady offended me, telling me how long I should. That was very offensive. I believe
it was offensive to hear that you're not grieving enough.
Well, yeah, people need to seek. I think people need to seek counseling, because it is a process. Seek professional help. That's my opinion. That's That's what I say to you. You know, when it comes to that, I'm not going to tell you how to grieve, when to grieve, because you ain't finna come on here and tell me. Now, I do have some things with grieving. I didn't seek, I sought my pastor, and, you know, I guess that's professional. But the Lord, I got through this with Christ.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, like Kim said, because I don't want to.
You about to offend somebody, huh?
I don't want to, but I feel like sometimes when people grieve, they expect you to be grieving with them, and it's like I'm done, finished. I'm not crying about it anymore. Not to say that if you know we talk about it, I won't shed a tear, but I'm not doing that. I'm sorry, like you know what I'm saying. Like, and sometimes I feel like people expect you to be on the same level as them.
Like you're like, I'll talk about it, but I'm not gonna boo-hoo, boo-hoo.
Yeah, I don't want to go there with you, you know? And like sometimes it's like they'll get mad at you because it seemed like, you know, I don't know. Maybe I just need to figure out how to relate better when it comes to that, because I can't relate.
You know,
like I don't know I don't know what to say, because nothing you say can ever make them feel better, because they're, you know, anything you say that they will rebuttal it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you say to make them feel better or to make them, you know, they will rebuttal it. So it's like, okay, I don't know what to say. So
I think
I have
one of those experience type thing. And even then, your experience may be different from theirs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But they'll hit you with, it mean everything to me. It might not mean nothing to you, you know.
Right.
It ain't even about
and
that.
When you do lose somebody, you know, your experience still may be different, but you do understand that pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I understand.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Just don't say nothing. Just I'm praying for you, baby. I think that's a good one.
I'm praying for you
and your family.
I think a lot of times too, people it's not necessarily that they want you to say something, more so than they don't want to be in that space alone. Like they don't have the tools to be able to get them to the place where you are. So it's almost like, oh, you're going to be my life raft and I'm going to hold on to you because you're here to see if you can.
That's so scary.
No, but I understand, but you know, a lot of times people don't realize that they're stuck. And then when they see you, I think it's more like, well, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Like, you know, not so much that though some people may say you shouldn't be doing, but I think it's like, well, how are you here? And I'm here. Like, how do I get where you are? You know what I mean? So they try to pull you back to where they are. I think sometimes in hopes that y'all can kind of walk that thing out together, but the steps of walking it out, they're not willing to take because they don't know what that step looks like.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
I
you
get
know
that,
what that step looks like because you've taken it. But to them, you're asking them to step out and they don't see a platform. They don't see anything. They just see this abyss. And you sitting there floating like you David Copperfield in the middle, you know, and they're like, well, no, come back here. How are you there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then they want to latch onto you and suck the life out of you. It's like you're sucking my energy dry.
Make you go back to the grieving process. Now I wouldn't even
make me sad. Like I just
yes, I mean.
For real. They make you want to go back and be like, well, dang, I guess I should have cried. You know, I guess I should have did.
Good.
Right.
I guess I do need to go get back into bed. No. You have to make a conscious decision that you will not be stuck in a place.
I don't know. Did you guys all see the movie the movie we all cried, Leno, what's the name? From Scratch.
Oh man.
When she was that part. And you need people in your life. I feel present.
Absolutely.
You need people in your life like that. He had died, but she had a child. He said, the sister went in there, she said, listen, okay, how long you gonna do this? Are you gonna be here next week, next year, when she's 18? Because it is a choice.
Yeah.
It is a choice. It's one of those things you have to will. And this was the love of her life. You know what I mean? And her sister was like, listen, I'm not telling you you're wrong. But what I'm telling you, you can't die with him.
Right. Got a whole
you know, you got to figure this. And again, I say it is a process. So I suggest you go seek professional help. Go speak with someone who can help you understand this process, you know, understand your feelings and get through it. Everybody don't have the luxury. Right. Well, it is a luxury. Everybody don't have the luxury or the ability to do what Kim did with her baby.
Oh, amen.
So everybody don't have the ability to go to the Father and Him help them. Until you can get to that place, I say go see somebody.
I like the illustration you gave of the sister being there because if you have a support system, that helps a lot because they will snap that into you.
Her sister said, "Look, how long you gonna lay here? I get it, but you got a daughter out there. You gonna lay here? It's gonna be a week. It's gonna be 2 weeks. It's gonna be 5 months next year when she's 18.
Yeah,
like how long you gonna do this?"
And she gave her time.
She did.
They're picking up the slack, giving her that time, and she
look how long you
got a life too.
And I think what it did was kind of put it in perspective for her. And she was like, "Dang, you're right. I got a child. I can't lay in the bed every day and night,
right?
Sobbing, not doing nothing, and neglect my own life."
But the child lost the daddy.
Right.
So who was gonna be there for the child?
Right. So the sister you're not that's the thing too. You're not the only one who felt this loss. You're not the only one. It's not only about you.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like when people go over that, I'm sorry.
I'm trying my best not to go there. Tamara.
Might as well go there. No.
Oh, grief is so selfish.
I feel like
I
feel like it's selfish, especially when you know the person is in heaven with the Lord. The Lord has confirmed it to you, and you still want to sit there and cry your eyes out. Like you want them to be here on earth where they were in pain, they were sick, but now that they're with the Lord, you want them to come back.
Oh yeah.
To endure some more pain, to endure some more heartache.
Just so you can feel better about it. Because
Theory, open up maps because I need directions to where they are.
No, but my whole thing is I did not want to go there because people don't understand that. But there's this book on it. It's a really good book. That's why I say you need to go see professionals. But when you look at the essence
of the name of the book.
Yes, let's give that.
I'll give you the book name in a minute. But when you look at the essence of grief, especially her in that moment, let's go back to from scratch when she was in that bed. She didn't see, it wasn't about anybody else. It was about she had lost a life. She didn't think about her child. She wasn't thinking about the people around her. She didn't care about the people around her. Was
his family,
sacrificing, taking care of her baby while she laid in that bed. It was
crying
about what she had lost, why she had lost it, and this is my pain. I'm hurt. I'm sad. It was about nobody else. Right. And so a lot of times, that's where people are. They don't see anything else but their pain, their world that has been interrupted. But there's other people around you whose world has been interrupted as well. And grief is very selfish.
Yeah. I agree.
Y'all comment down below. Tell us what y'all think.
Self-centeredness and that being the motivation of grief and all that. I didn't want to go into that because people don't understand that. That's something.
And they'll stone you for saying.
They be like, "Oh,
but that was my grandma. That was
me.
Daddy. That was
girl when Pastor pulled me. But it took Holy Spirit talking to me from when she talked to me about it. I was ready to leave the church. Because what you mean?
It's a.
But I needed that because if obviously me with my grandma, my baby, I still be pulling that obituary out to this day. Talking about 3 months in, it be 4-5 years in. I'm
it'll be your routine now.
Look, me to start. He ain't getting none that night because I'm over here crying by grandma.
Yeah, I absolutely say I do not want to be stuck. I'm talking about an hour into, I'm like, this is happening. I don't want to be stuck. I cannot be, because I seen the examples around me. That was the biggest push for me. I seen these people my people hung up in area where they still going out to the gravesite, still doing these things, still holding on to stuff that the loved ones had left behind. You know, I don't want to be insensitive, but I know I don't want to be in that place. I know I don't want to be stuck, you know, in that place. So I had to make a decision. And I was like, okay, Lord, this is where I'm at. This is my desire. I don't want to be here next year. You know what I mean? I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
You know, I even went as far as I didn't know it was going to be that fast, you know, but even after like 2-3 months, I was pretty good. You know, I was pretty good. I'm still mad. I still had anger, for a long time because of how things were handled, because, everything. I was mad. But as far as grieving to a point where I felt like, he wasn't in a good place, that about 3 months I was good, because I knew that he was in the bosom of the Lord. I knew that part. It was security in that. So, but I'm saying some of my family members, it's just it could go as easy as this. When I seen my aunts and stuff drink the way they do, I made a decision then. I cannot drink. Oh, I'm gonna be just like that. Not saying anything wrong. My auntie, them, I love them, but having an addiction to drink, having an addiction to smoke and that stuff, and having to let that be one of your battles, I didn't want to do that.
Right.
I equated that to, even that, because it's like, I don't want that for my life. And if I didn't make a declaration to stay far away from it, then I would be just like that. I would be battling that same thing, right? And so when grief came about, I was like, I have a great example around me. If I can turn on either side of my family, I have a great example where they're holding on to that loved one, and they talk about it like they still here, like it was yesterday that we buried them. Like it was just, it's hard. You can tell them stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, once I saw that, and I said, okay, Lord, that ain't what I want. So help me, in this area, because I'm a product of, usually you're a product of what you grew up from, or what you're known to, what you're conditioned to. So once I did that, I was like, okay, Lord, I got to move from here. And every time I felt myself going to the left, I would go back to the Father. Hey, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
Can I sit here for a minute? Nope, we need to move on. You get what I'm saying? So it's definitely a process. And like I said, I equate it all to my relationship with the Lord. My relationship with the Lord is key. So for you that are going through out there, we are praying for you. That's what we're going to say. We are praying for you, and we want your comments. We're praying for those that are going through it, are still trying to get through it. If you have questions, you need somebody to talk to, you can talk to either one of us. We here. We're going to give you some godly counsel, We ain't going to try to make you feel bad for where you are in your stage.
Right.
But if you want some freedom, you know what I mean? You want to move from a spot of turmoil and depression. You get what I'm saying?
That part, yep.
We here, and we'll point you in the right direction. So
the book is called The Source of All Grief.
The Source of All. I think I've heard of that.
The Source of All Grief.
You have to be ready to read it, though. I'm gonna say that it's not one of those easy reads. You have to be ready to look inside and ready to read it, because sometimes people can give you something and you're not willing to receive it, so that it means nothing. And you're like, I don't want to hear that, and you don't receive it, so it ain't the same effect on someone who's willing to do the work.
Awesome, guys. This was a really, really good conversation. I think there was a lot of good information that anybody could take from it. Do this, though. Follow us on all of our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and push that subscribe button. We got a lot coming your way. I know y'all love it. Okay. So comment down below, share it with your friends, tell a friend to tell a friend. And by the way, I'm Tamara. That's Kim right there. That's Sheikah right there with the big pretty hair. And that's Ave right there, lady in red. Okay. And we be talking. We love y'all. See y'all next time. Bye.
Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the post notification bell so you don't miss a single video, because they be talking. Period.